All right, you can let people in. Hey, what's up, Don? How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. We got Jacob in the house. We got Phil. We're looking right at your legs and your couch, my man. Phil AM. Look at Jacob doing deals in his house. I like it. What's going on, Cody? How you doing, brother?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
Let me move my mic over. Yeah, I'm doing good. Doing good. Thank you. Happy Saturday to y'all. Okay, the audio should sound a little bit different now. It should be a little bit clearer. I got the mic all hooked up. Okay. And Big Ben, where you at?
Here.
Okay, cool. All right, let me mute out Phil. Like, is there a way to shut Phil's photo off? Because I don't want to stare at his legs or kick. Well, if we I'm gonna put him in the waiting room right now. I can't stare at that. Okay.
What was I just looking at?
What's that?
What was I just looking at?
I don't know what you. It was his legs. Yeah, it looked a little weird, but yeah, I don't want to be staring at that while we're talking here today. All right, Ben, go ahead and tag everybody that was supposed to be on the event, and then Jacob, go ahead and tag anybody you want to be here. So happy Saturday to y'all. Let's talk some sales. I guess we'll make this a little bit interactive. But first, I want to just see, like, for whoever's here, like Ayush, Don, Cody, like, you guys have like a sales process that you follow consistently, or is it kind of like everything's sometimes a little bit different when you're on the calls? I know Cody, but for you, Don, I'll start with you.
It's a little bit different sometimes. I mean, I'm going after restaurants, and I guess the process is kind of feel them out and see where they're at. I mean, I find a lot of them have never advertised, so I'm kind of like, I talked to them a little bit about if they've ever considered it or whatever, but most of them haven't. And I don't know, it's kind of like beating a dead horse, man, with some of these guys that never advertised before.
Okay. Now, in terms of like, this is going to be for everybody. Like, when it comes to sales, like, I always start off with like, what's my endpoint that I want out of me? I don't care about the restaurant or the target or the niche. What do I want for me personally? What's my personal goal? Do I want to hit 10K, 20K, 30K in this month or in this year? So I have my target. So now the target's set. Then I have to back down into it. Now I have to look at how many leads do I need to close one deal? And if we're at 10%, we need 10 deals, 10 leads. So if we want to close 10 new people at 1,000 to hit our 10 grand, we need 100 leads to be able to be at our disposal. So now that we're at 10% and we're and we have 100 leads, we have a pure predictable way to hit our goals. Now, there's two ways to increase income at that stage without getting more leads. Number one is get better at sales. Number two is get a better offer. Number three is get better marketing, right? So we can always inch up from that benchmark of 10% and get to 15, 20, 30% from there. Let me just let a few people in. And that's kind of how we hit that roadmap, because once we're clear on our numbers, like, you have to have your numbers. Otherwise, it's just going to be a fucking guessing game every single day. We have to have those numbers very clear. And the most important thing to a lot of people is getting sales, right? But then the least important thing is tracking sales. And if we have those clear numbers, it's not to make us embarrassed or think of like, well, I'm not as good as I thought I was. That's not the case. When you track your numbers, you can only improve. That's just preparation, right? Just like when you look at like basketball players, like, all their stats, like statisticians are the most important people in basketball so that they know how to recruit the right talent. Same thing with ourselves. If we're tracking our sales numbers, man, we can just explode our business because now we're aware. We can now make marketing decisions. We can hire other people. We can hire contracted salespeople at that particular point. So if we're just talking about right now while you guys were walking on, tracking your numbers. And starting with your endpoint. Like in this case, we're going to start off with, let's just say, a simple $10,000 a month is our goal. If we are 10% closers, we need 100 leads to close 10 people at $1,000 a pop, or 5 people to close at 2,000, et cetera. So we can rejigger the numbers. But if we're not tracking it, you're just going to be you're going to be shooting bullets in the dark. It's just not going to happen. So that's the most important part, is get clear on that. Now, one thing we now need to do is, if we're not spending any dollars on marketing, to get those 100 opportunities, or if I'm just using 100 as an example. Don't let that intimidate you, or don't let that sound too small for you. I'm just using that number for this example. So you may need 10 opportunities or 20 to hit your goal in a month. Now we need to have enough outbound if we're not doing any inbound marketing. Inbound is just basically buying traffic, ranking on Google, JVs with other groups or people that can drive the traffic inbound to you. Outbound is just simply going to be cold emailing, cold calling. Here we got Heather coming in the house. Cold calling, I don't like cold DMing. That's kind of like not my cup of tea. I know a lot of people teach that shit, but that is a method if you have no way of getting traffic. So now we have to have, how many conversations do we now need to have to generate the lead quantity that we need that matches our closing ratio? Does that make sense from the number standpoint to everybody? So that's why number tracking is so important, because if we're doing 100 outbounds per, let's say 50 outbounds per day, everybody here can do 50 outbounds. The reason people can't do 50 outbounds or don't think they can is because they don't know what they're doing yet. Now, outbounds just can mean like old conversations. People, if you go through your messenger right now, you can see, like, go scroll up and down, you'll be able to see where conversations left off, where new conversations you missed. Because like whenever I go through my messenger, or I have Ben or whoever's in my messenger for me, like we're just scrolling through to see where did we miss an opportunity? Did we miss like a response or somebody who wanted to get help, or did we not respond? Like we're just finding leaks in the bucket right here. So we just scroll. It's just like really fucking easy. And like while we're watching, if we're couch potatoes and want to watch some Netflix, we're just like kind of text messaging and Netflixing and chilling. So we don't try to put stress on ourselves. We try to keep it as simple as possible. But this is where like there's so much revenue, right? And just this phone. Does that make sense for everybody? How like easily we can actually go get people. Like restaurants, you can ping their page and just give them a compliment. Hey, love this photo. Then go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. Once they respond, now you have an open entry point to have a dialogue. But what people are taught is that cold DM bullshit of like, go buy my stuff now. But no, that's not going to work. This is 2021, not 2000, right? Or 1990, right? Back then, that was the method of getting business, and it was a lot easier. But now everybody on the planet is a fucking marketer. Everybody on the planet is a salesperson. Everybody on the planet is excellent at everything right now. So we're a commodity. So we're decommoditizing. So that's the most important part, is how to decommoditize. All right. So I'm hearing a little static. Did you guys hear that static at all?
Nope.
It's gone now. It's gone now, but it was
that look. Yeah, it was a little bit there. Okay, cool. So how many of you guys like have like a full pipeline every single day? Or need anybody? Nope. Okay, cool. We'll do some stuff on some lead stuff later. In our group, like who has not been through the perfect stranger method? Who has not been through the perfect stranger method? So all you guys have. Go through that shit again then, because we use that same method every fucking day. Like consistency is important, because if you don't succeed at first, you got to just keep trying again. That's the most important part, is like everything is consistent, right? So like the game of basketball, for example, I love basketball and I have one right behind me inside my house here. But I'm not consistent, so I'll never be Michael Jordan, right? But when it comes to like the perfect stranger method, I'm very consistent on that. So I'm pretty good at getting leads on demand. So that's important that you have your perfect stranger method there. So let me go over finding leads. And you said Jacob has that dialed in. Yeah, Jacob has that dialed in. Yeah, when we're doing our outbound, when I post something on my profile, Jacob or Ben, they'll just go and introduce themselves to the people, give them what we promised, or start that dialogue, and make sure that it's the right resource for them. Because if I say, who wants my 8-step rad sales framework that's made over $35 million for my agency without a professional sales team, who wants it? And they all say me. we need to make sure that if we're going to give it to somebody, it's a right fit for them. Because if I give you something that you are not going to operate well, we can't give it to you. Because if you're trying to learn sales, but then you're trying to get like better at like operations, we may just say no. If you're like you gotta prioritize your knowledge. You don't need that stuff. But if there's a reason why, tell me why. So that's how we're using it. Is like because if I give you the operational book and you try to read off of that, let me mute Phil out here, and you try to read off of it, you're gonna fuck it up because a lot of it is in between the lines. Like Jacob, let me ask you because you're unmuted.
Yep.
Did you ever learn a new language in college or high school?
High school, yeah.
Which
Spanish.
language was it?
Spanish.
Okay, and what was the last time you spoke Spanish to somebody?
I said gracias amigo to Cody in Messenger yesterday. But besides that, a long time.
Okay. Okay, got it. So, but when you were learning Spanish, were you good at it? Could you hold a conversation?
Very simple conversation, but I was also practicing every day.
Okay, you're practicing every day, but you had somebody in front of you, your teacher, that was
Yeah, my
giving you
teacher. Yeah.
like teaching you how to speak certain dialects in the Spanish, the language, like "si, señorita," and like how to say it when roll your R's, roll your T's, right? So same
Yeah.
thing with when it comes to sales, we need that same kind of learning capability because like right now, Jacob probably like when you were learning from that person and practicing regularly, like from that point to now, do you feel like you're at that same level, or was your Spanish better when you're practicing regularly?
It was a lot better in high school. I wasn't allowed to talk in class unless it was Spanish.
Okay, cool. So
I
there
got
you
damn
go.
good.
So there you go. So the point being is sales, think of it as a language. It's a new skill. And when we practice it, we have to practice it every day. And if we don't practice it, it goes away too. Like Jacob can have, what did you say? Amigo, something? Hola,
Yeah.
amigo.
That's
Yeah.
all I
So
got now.
look how silly Jacob is if he goes and talks to people in Spanish now, right? Same thing with sales. Like it's a new fucking language that we practice. And it doesn't mean you have to practice 24/7, but if you do, then you're just going to get better. Because if you look at those Kobe Bryant videos where he's like motivational, I suggest everybody go on TikTok and type in Kobe Bryant motivation. He just has this thing where he says, well, if I wake up at 3 a.m. and I go to practice from 4 to 6, I come home, I rest, I go again from 7 to 9 or 9 to 11, then I rest, have my lunch, then I go back in the afternoon, then I go back in the early evening, then I go back at night. He's like, I've practiced 3 more times than everybody else. Now, imagine how that compounds over a decade, how much further ahead you're going to be of the whole entire pack. That's called separation. Now, all the people that you look at that are good at whatever it is they do, sales, posting numbers that they closed $1 million in a month, it didn't just happen because they closed $1 million and they got lucky and they're the best. It's because they sucked fucking balls. And then they just got really good at it. They practiced, they role played. And that's really what it comes down to is increase the skill versus prioritize stupid shit. Because it's so much easier to kind of watch Netflix or do something that's not your priority. And that's why we really focus on like with our team is like get good at a skill and then get better at it. Because if I need Jacob to be really good at like messenger and doing triages, I don't necessarily need him to be good at sales. Because then now we're basically saying, okay, you're really good at something. Let's use your talent elsewhere. That's going to confuse him. It's going to fuck up everything. It's going to bring the house down because a lot of people's brains will tell them, oh, I got this right. Let me go do something else. It's like, no, be a specialist. Be a fucking sniper. Stay so laser focused that you don't need to be good at 12 things. You just need to be excellent at one and then brought like that T-shape, like the T-shape thing. That just mean like the T-shaped marketer, the T-shaped salesperson just means the T is like be excellent at one thing. And then the T is like now you have that horizontal pathway to be good at multiple other things. Just good. You don't have to be great. But if you're good, that's good enough because you could always hire that other talent out depending on what you do. But every time I've started anything we've ever done, we've sold it before it's been ready. And that's the most important part for the marketers out there because I always hear, let me build it. Let me get my go high level. Let me get this. Let me get that. Fuck all that because nobody's going to buy your shit anyways. Get a customer first and then build it around that customer because now you have revenue coming in because that's what we want. Otherwise, no, otherwise we won't really be able to sustaining our company. We'll not be able to support our families. So, anyways, anybody have any like questions? Drop them in the chat. And if you guys, can you guys hear that noise outside? And is it loud out here? Because there's like my neighbor just started some construction. It sounds like, but I'm gonna do a quick little screen share. And I'll
real quick too. If you're watching this on Facebook, I just dropped the Zoom link in the Facebook. Join us live on here, guys, on the Zoom. It'll help everybody. We want to get you guys as many so we can interact and see each other and do all that good stuff. So if you're on the Zoom and if you're on the Facebook live, I just dropped the Zoom link. Join us in here along with all these other people getting shit done on a Saturday morning. Cool, guys.
Yeah, and we'll, if you guys have questions, we'll just raise your hand in the little they have a raise hand button. That'll make it easier. But I'm just going to quickly share something, because the preparation is the most important thing. It's definitely not going to necessarily be like the sales script. It's going to be like a lot of it's going to be just your mentality. That's going to be the number one thing that I focus on, is all mental. And that's why I read this. I literally, after doing this for like 17 years just for myself, like plus another like couple years for some other people, because I've only had like one real sales job, which was realtor.com, and I was honestly the worst fucking salesperson on the planet when I worked there. But I learned a lot on how to get good. Okay, so this is really kind of more important than the script, is just getting pumped and getting motivated, not being fearful that you're going to fuck up an opportunity. Because that was me. I'm talking when I talk, I'm talking about personal experiences. Because when I would get on a call, like, oh man, like I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. And the way I got rid of that, I don't know if I'm ready, is I went back to like my sports mentality is like, just give me the rock, give me the ball. I played soccer, so I just wanted the ball. So when it came to sales, the reason I was confident in sports is because I was prepared. I did the things that I needed to do to be prepared. So that's all I would do, is just fucking prepare. So I'd want to have high energy, but contained. I just don't want to sound like I'm asleep. I'd smile because it makes us feel better. It makes when someone smiles at you, pretty girl, good looking dude, whatever it is that's your cup of tea, like you get in a better mood, get some confidence going. I like to move quickly personally. So me, it's speed plus quality. I got to stay organized. So I have to have like my tabs that are important to me only open on those sales calls, like my notes, their profile, etc. Reporting, this is going to be my feedback loops to myself or my whiteboard, just so I can know my KPIs, because I need to audit my own day every day, because I don't want to be going through my day and just basically saying, "Whoo, what a great day. I was so busy. I said so many fucking words." I need to say, like, I did 100 outbounds. I had 5 quality conversations. 2 are moving forward in a week. 1 closed now. 3 are dead. That's fucking quality. That's reporting. Because now I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I don't memorize it. It's not on a little checklist, not on a piece of paper or a sticky note that somebody threw away. It's like a KPI document where now I can do one thing. I can predict my income. I can track my future forecasts. I can now dictate if I want to pay for a vacation or pay for more marketing and ads. So that's why reporting is really important. Communication, if you have a team, communication is really, really important. Dress to impress, this is up to you. This is my dress to impress on this fine Saturday. I used to have to wear a suit to work. But let me, you know what? Fuck this. We're going to live delete this. Dress for your comfort. Dress for your motherfucking comfort. That's what it should say. Helping mindset, not selling. So we don't know if we can help them to begin with. So that's important. Be very specific on any questions. The reason I have to, like, we have to always, it's easy to make mistakes in game. It's very easy to make mistakes. Like J.R. Smith for the Cleveland Cavaliers in like 2017 or 18 or something like that with LeBron James. Like, he made a mistake. LeBron passed him the ball. The dude ran out the clock when he should have shot the ball and possibly won the game. So his checklist should have said, know your shot clock, right? Ours needs to be like, ask very specific questions, because if somebody asks me a question, I need to dig down and clarify what they even mean to begin with. I'm not getting enough leads. Well, what do you mean by that? Most people will say, I'm not getting enough leads. Oh, cool. We can help you with leads. No problem. What else do you need help with? Like, we just need to clarify down. So we have to be very, very specific to find their true pain. So what the root of the problem with, because if they can face the root of their problem, then we're going to be able to move them across the line faster, or at least they're going to feel like they can actually make a purchase decision, because if they don't solve their biggest pain, they're going to die. That's their business, because the probability of death in a business is extremely high. It's probably higher than divorce rates in the United States. All right, side with them. We want to be empathetic. This is something that I never really was early on. I was just more gung ho, like fuck feelings. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But empathy is really important, and this is what like the CEO of Sony Home Entertainment Group, like his name's David Bishop. He taught me. I asked him like, how on earth are you such a great leader managing thousands of fucking people for the biggest name in entertainment history? He's like, empathy. He's like, I practice empathy every single day. 365 days a year. I empathize with the janitors all the way to my executives. We have to reemphasize their pain points, provide a simple solution. Simple meaning it has to be extremely clear, because confused people cannot buy. Check in often. Oh, I check in often. Like, I want to make sure that it makes sense. Like, everything needs to make sense. Like it costs $10,000 to, or the investment is going to be $10,000 to implement this into your business so that we can fix your website. So when people come, they're going to convert. Any questions about the investment? Because then we just we want the objection. We don't want to wait till the fucking end where we're about to go and then like, oh, well, let me think about it. We want it right then and there, immediately. The faster we can get the objection, the better it is for everybody, because it's not even an objection. It's all it is a conversation. It's their money, and if they want to spend it however they want, we need to clarify that with them rather than go through just this circle jerk conversation, and at the end we're fucked, because it's going to be, you're going to be chasing them down, and once you start chasing them down, desperation steps in. You're focused, you're going to bed thinking about that deal that got away, and then you're going to call them until you actually chased it away. Does that ever happen to anybody? Because it certainly happened to me when I only had like barely any leads, and I'm like, oh my god, they were so fucking close. And I wake up the next day and I'm like, dude, let me just call that guy because he's waiting for my call every single day. So but they're really not. They're like, well, the website's not even a priority to me. This dude just didn't even ask the right questions. And then ask for the sale. I always ask for the sale. How do we move forward? What do we need to do? Does this match what you're looking for? Cool. Can we talk about moving forward? And then I'll go into the recommended sales pitch of what I want it to, what I think is going to be the recommendation. So when I'm diagnosing or prescribing people, I'm giving them what I truly feel I would pay for myself. Like, if I was the person on the flip side of that coin, I would be offering myself in the mirror the same solution. So just because some dude drives a Bentley doesn't mean he actually is rich. Just because they drive a beat to shit Camry doesn't mean they're poor. So I want to make sure if they have a problem, I have to give them that solution to solve for it. And then we make the assessment from there and we head on with objections. Okay. And I'll answer some questions. Okay. So here's some just general stuff, like mindset discipline rules. You can't lose anything you never had. So you got to detach yourself. That's why you can stay calm, cool, collected. Because if you want the sale before you got on the phone with the prospect, like you're going to be emotionally drained by the end of it when you don't. But if you're detached, then you're making the decision together. I know it sounds a little weird for some of us, because we want to help people so bad. So sometimes our passion spills through. But if we can detach ourselves, this is probably the most important thing that's going to change people's income. Other than getting the necessary skills, obviously, to ask the right questions at the right time. Prepare a couple of minutes before the call. Like, if you're going from call to call to call and you're really, really experienced and you're a good closer, like, you don't need a lot of preparation. Because you can move your mind quicker. But for some of us that we don't take a high volume of calls or still practicing a lot of the sales, like, at least give yourself minimum 5 minutes to look over the notes. Hopefully you're putting them in a CRM so you can just browse through them. And if you have somebody else in your team that set the call up for you, make sure that you have that information at your disposal, so you don't have to kind of pivot in call. Be a doctor so you can kind of like find where it hurts, and give them the consequences if they don't fix. Like, if somebody comes up with a broken ankle and the person says, oh doc, no, it's too expensive, I don't want that, then the doctor would probably say, well, hey man, it's broken. If it never heals, you'll just never be able to walk. And the next level is going to be amputation. Is that something you want to do? Is me come back here and me cut off your leg in a week? Right. So that's kind of like where we want to make sure they know the consequences of the inaction. Respect money, like I just said, as your own. Record all your calls. Trust in your skills. The cool part about recording calls is we're going to learn so much about ourselves. We're going to know what we actually sound like. Because when we're talking, we're like, oh, that's cool. But when we hear ourselves, you're going to hear some ums, some likes. You're going to miss things in the call. But most importantly, you're going to improve from it. And secondarily, the operational value for your income, you can find a mistake in that call to call that lead back that you didn't close to set up your next call or your follow-up or the future. So you're going to learn a lot of information when you start to listen to your own calls. And then what does it say? More rules coming. Okay. So in case we need to add to it, that's what it is. And then here's just, if you want to take a look, here's like a general, this literally is just for us. I mean, for you guys, it'll just be your own time frame. But typically the reason we call it the RAD framework is just rapport, agenda, discovery. The agenda is just telling people what we're going to be talking about. I mean, this is skippable. I like to just kind of use that as a time block. Hey, we have about 30 minutes blocked off today. Here's what we plan on covering. Is anything you'd like to cover? That's like the agenda, just so I know time blocks. Like if somebody says, oh yeah, we definitely got 30. Okay, cool. We can go over if we need to. So I just got time and space boundaries. That's really it. So let me go over the questions. So Michael, what do you got?
So what you were talking about is like, sell it before it's ready, right? I'm actually going through something like that right now because, just by watching your videos and stuff, I do real estate too, and I'm a mentor for my brokerage. And I thought about something as far as I'm getting leads given to me every single day for coaching. These people that I'm mentoring, I could be coaching them, getting 30% of their commissions. So I'm setting up a framework right now. And I actually just started doing that, where setting up the lessons and writing up the workbooks and all that other shit. And that's kind of like where I was stuck right now. I was like, should I start doing the coaching? And that just gave me the affirmation, because I have everything here. It's in my head, but for me, I felt like, putting it down so I can actually give them workbooks and all this other shit. I think it's just better. So I could just start doing the coaching videos and then just, work on that as I'm doing the coaching calls, and then just work on doing the workbooks and all that other shit afterwards.
Yeah, you can always improve it as you go, because you got to prove that you can get clients before you build out all this other stuff. Because if you look at anybody like a Tony Robbins, the way he was making money, or a Tom Ferry in the real estate space, so make it even more relatable. These guys aren't going out and building fucking booklets. They're basically saying, buy this shit. Well, let's now improve how we can support our students. And we're making incremental improvements, because if we build a workbook and then the students have more shit, guess what? We got to redo the workbook or re-edit it or get the designer to do stuff. Or if it's basic Google Doc, we can just add another line item. So I'm just doing things like where it's just like, go offer it. And once they buy it, now you have a built-in client. So now you got revenue, and now you have somebody that can refer you, somebody can 5-star review you, et cetera. So yeah, I wouldn't really worry about having a piece of paper or a checklist ready, a homework workbook. I would just more so being able to coach them with what to change them now, versus just gain interest and then them finding another solution because you warm them up of what they needed and you're not ready. Because if you wait till you're ready, then there's even more pressure when you're not ready. Like, that's the best part, because then now you can just kind of like, I look at it as just like funding your own company. Like, when do you want it? You want it, like, you want the world to be perfect, and never going to happen. You'll just never make a sale. But like, that's just the way I think. Because I don't know if the customer is going to even want it. Like, look at what Apple does. They're selling fucking iPhones before they're even in the country. Chances are they may not even be fully finished. Like Tesla selling cars that don't exist, offering rocket to the moon that does not exist. They're not even ready. You'll die if you fucking get in one of their cars or one of their rocket ships. You'll be dead. You'll be burned. Like you can't even, and worse, like you can't even do it. Or I guess not worse than death, but like, yeah, that's the whole point, is just sell before, like, as long as you're going to be ready. I'm not saying go recklessly sell shit. I'm just saying don't let that be a boundary or barrier for entry, especially when you're working on it.
Yeah. So for me, just kind of set up my own agenda of what I want to talk about, at least, so I have a good roadmap for myself, and then just kind of tailor that to them, just go over it, and then I can worry about the other shit later.
Yeah, like here, just all it is the presentation. It's like the four pillars or 6 pillars or whatever you want. Like, let me go down to it. So the presentation part, okay. So here's 4 pillars. Part B, the pillars. Like, number 1, we want to help you niche down and work on your mindset so you can stay really, really focused. Number 2, craft that as an irresistible offer that's going to attract inspired and motivated in-market clients, not out-of-market, in-market clients right here, right now. And then sales process will help you dial in the freaking sales process so that you can actually make the revenue that you're wanting, because there's nothing worse in the world than having somebody that's hot, that's already going to buy, and you still don't close them. And then worse, a day later, you realize they signed up with somebody else. That's not a mismatch that they had a better offer. It's just a unpreparedness that now you know that failure point, that what you need to improve on because the market has spoken. Systems and SOPs and delegation. Conversion systems called the CAP method, customer acquisition process, follow-up systems to close more deals. So you can prepare this so it can have like 10 different benefits. And then when you're presenting to the person, now you have the most important things to them, the 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 things that are most important to that person. Because we don't want to go over, like, to me, it's confusing. Like when I go to like a car, I was just looking at a car the other day, like an Escalade, and I was like, fuck, this laundry list of shit is giving me a fucking headache. Like I'm not a car guy. So for car guys, they may want to know whatever the hell that even means. But for me, I just want a dope sound system. I want some nice rims and a cool grill. That's it. Like, I mean, because I don't know what all this other stuff means, now I'm thinking I should take a picture of it. I got to go on the fucking internet and can't make a decision. And then I have to figure out what am I missing? So now I'm confused because I just don't buy cars very often. I don't lease cars very often. So I can't make a decision. So now my indecision, the decision was already being made. I want to get this. Now the indecision was caused by being confused by a piece of paper. And that might sound crazy to some of you guys, but that's how I personally think. I imagine other people may also feel the same way, because now they're thinking, well, what am I missing? Can I get a better deal? Now can I shove more shit on these line items? I don't even know what they are. Now you're asking different questions than you anticipated.
You're just gonna get another Avalon anyways. I don't know if you know why you're looking at an Escalade.
Brother, you're gonna see the I don't like material stuff, so I am a tell you again.
That's right. You're just gonna get another Avalon. Sorry, I just had to throw that in.
Yeah, I think I've been wearing this T-shirt for 10 years too. So
an Avalon's got a dope sound system. It's got a great Bluetooth for you, because that's all you need is to make sure that you can connect to your phone right away.
Yeah, reverse camera and Bluetooth is the 2 things I need. Very simple stuff. Okay, so does that answer anybody else's question? Like, let's make this a little interactive so I can take on some other any questions or bottlenecks to solve. Okay, that's you, Jacob. Okay. Anybody else have any questions around sales? I'll walk you through the process if you don't.
I had a quick question.
Might be a short one.
Was I first or?
Yeah, go for it, Chris.
Yeah, so I wanted to know if we could just do like a quick role play me and you. So I had a guy I was on a call with, and he was being kind of difficult. And as soon as I came to the price, he just got immediately turned off, and I got kind of like taken back by that. And I don't think I did a good job of handling that objection. So do you think you could just run through that real quick? Like, you are presenting, so you'll be me, and then I'll role play kind of his reaction.
Yeah. So the investment to be able to improve your marketing so you can get the leads that you want is going to be $10,000, and we'll do this over the next 12 months for you.
10,000. Wow, that's too much, Rahul. I can't do that.
Yeah, that's not a problem. So yeah, when you say that's too much, like, can you clarify what you mean by that?
Yeah, 10,000 is just too much, man. It doesn't make sense right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah. No, I got that. Like, what do you mean by too much and doesn't make sense? Just so I can understand, because maybe there's something I can help you with.
Yeah, like 10,000. That's way more than I was looking to spend on marketing.
Okay. Now, are you comparing it to something else, or how are we coming to that conclusion?
Yeah, I didn't really talk to anyone else or compare it to anything. I just, that's just out of my budget right now.
Okay, so that's your perspective. Okay, so since it's outside of your budget, what? Just out of curiosity, what did you budget for?
I probably budgeted for about $1,000.
A grand per month?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at $12,000 for the year. Okay. Now, in terms of being able to grow the business the way you want it to do to get to, it may require a little bit more of an investment from your end. Now here's some ideas that I've helped other people with. Would you be open for me to walk you through that process?
Sure. Sounds interesting.
Okay, cool. Since you're obviously a real estate agent and you're doing fairly well for yourself now, and now you're saying you want to level up. Now, so in order to level up and to get the things that we want, we may have to invest into this business. Okay. Just like when the houses that you actually sell, the people you sell them to, they don't come up with all the cash right now. So if they want $1 million home that leads to maybe a $30,000 commission check, they don't put $1 million down because it just wouldn't make good sense. And plus, they probably don't have $1 million. I don't know too many people who have $1 million in cash sitting in the bank. So what they do is they provide it a loan so they can have a valuable asset. It's tax deductible, and also it grows in appreciation over the years. It's been proven historically that prices go up over the long run. Now, same thing with your business. If we take that same model and concept of we get the necessary cash flow so that we can actually get that ascension model in our income and reach more people, that's the way you're going to be able to create that appreciation in your own business and your own marketing by just treating it by the products that you sell, right? That perspective. Because if we want to stay where we are, that's not a problem, because then we'll just have the perspective of where we are. We won't be able to grow past that. But if we want to be like those top agents, guess what they're doing? They're using capital that they're borrowing. It's just the right thing to do, because now we're getting into good debt, just like a home, right? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Okay. So when it comes to like funding or whatnot, what other kind of access to like cash or anything do you have access to right now?
Probably have like 500 in savings, or could look into taking some money out to
Okay.
for a loan or something.
Okay. A loan? Like what kind? What do you mean?
I had to talk to the bank and see if I can get a line of credit or something like that.
Okay, cool. So now we have a plan. That sounds like a good plan. Is there anything else that you can think of? Like maybe a 401k or something that you have some other cash tucked away?
Yeah, right now I don't really have a lot of savings, so I don't know if that would be a good option.
Okay. Yeah, let's start off with your line of credit. And may I give you another recommendation?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Since you're online, obviously, because we're on Zoom here, let me send you a link. Let's do something crazy. Let's get some free money. How about that?
Okay, sure.
All right, let's go to PayPal credit real quick. And let's just have you sign in, fill in the little doodads on there, and then tell me what you got approved for. Because now we're going to have 6 months of free capital that we can just pay back with profits. Okay.
Okay,
And you can
sounds
go to
good.
Amex Blue, Amex Blue or Amex Cash Everyday Rewards. I haven't used that before, but I hear that they approve you instantly and give you a credit card number instantly. And they have something like 12 or 18% interest free. So you don't actually have to pay your credit card down, or however the rules work, for a long period of time, so that people can get the necessary funding. Because like, what are our fucking options? I mean, obviously I'm going down a path of getting them to realize, I'm relating it back to what they do for a living. That they're telling people, go buy this expensive fucking house, borrow money, and use somebody else's money. And now I'm trying to relate it back to their thought process. Because if they're unwilling to borrow their own money and they're telling other people to borrow money, chances are that's why they're stuck. They're getting the objection that they give.
Got it. Okay, that was really good. I have to watch that again as well. Appreciate it, Rahul.
Yeah, no problem. But we need to know what they're comparing it to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I was just with Bogdan, Jacob and I were talking to our sales guy Bogdan yesterday, and he was talking about like he was used to sell training for $3,000, and they're like, "Whoa, that's expensive." And then it's just like, well, the guy has a freaking Bentley, right? Well, the Bentley, like, how's that not expensive? Like, if it's expensive if you're comparing it to a pile of shit Toyota, like a beat up hunky clunky thing that's like got 300,000 miles on it. Yeah, it's expensive compared to that, right? So for a real estate agent or anybody for that matter, the word high ticket is all relative. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just a fake word. It's somebody that somebody made up to make more sales to people to buy it. So all it really means is comparison, because like to some people $1 million is a deal. To other people that's high ticket. So it's all perspective. Like $1 million is just an average home in Southern California. It's nothing, right? And for $10,000, you're gonna buy a fucking pile of shit car. So it's all relative, right, to that person. So that's why clarity is really, really important.
Got it.
Because the number one thing is they don't have and possess the necessary skills to be able to duplicate and replicate this over and over and over again. And once they have that, then they can just grow themselves, right? So once you have the skills, then you actually will be a weapon. If you don't possess the skills and don't seek to gain them, then you'll always be like kind of scrapping around, or looking for a certain point of luck to occur. And luck doesn't come that often. Like luck, like the richer people get luckier, right? Like LeBron James is lucky as fuck. People want to pay him to come to hit their restaurants. People want to pay him to wear their clothing. People want to pay him to tweet stuff. Whereas young LeBron, when people didn't know him, he probably couldn't get anything from it. He probably couldn't get anyone to pay him. So it's like the more he increased his skill, the more in demand he created. And that can go for anybody here. Because as you guys see the people around you grow, and you see all these people who have come to the top that you look up to, or on YouTube or wherever, or even TV, think about the story and the hell they went through at first too. That's what you're supposed to go through, that journey. And the longer we push something off, like I had a cavity in my tooth, and I'm like, fuck it, the pain went away, I'm gonna go do my thing. And then it started throbbing. I'm like, fuck it, pain went away. Then I heard a little bit of like a weird noise that you shouldn't really hear coming out of your fucking mouth. I'm like, oh, pain went away. And then I drank coffee with sugar in it, and I'm like, oof, that shit hurt. Let me just use the other side of my mouth. So I'm now basically delaying it. Guess what happened? Anybody know what happened to that simple $50, $150 cavity fill that would have taken like 15 fucking minutes to fix? Anybody know what I did? I got an extraction. I had to have a fucking dentist use a wrench in my mouth, like putting his foot next to my chair. There's no method to extraction. It's literally ripping it out of your mouth. It's not comfortable. Your head's jerking back and forth. And then they're cleaning it. Then you have to get a metal a post put in your mouth. Then you have to get fitted for a fake tooth, and then you have to come back 3 or 4 times. And the pain and the injections you have to put through your body are really painful. And the cause of that could have been solved at the level of a cavity fill. And since I put it off, the pain just got greater and greater. So those were my consequences. So the longer we put off the hard things, like Robert Kiyosaki, I was watching him on TikTok last night. And one of the things he talks about is pain. He's like, or like loving what you do in pain. Like I make a lot of money because I do what I hate. Not what I love. I do what I fucking hate. And what he simply means by that, he just does the harder things first so that he can have the things that he wants. So sometimes it's watching sales videos. Sometimes it's paying somebody, getting that pain of like, oh, well, what if nothing happens? It's like, well, fuck, what if something does? So that's what we have to kind of inject into our content, into our sales calls, and just be extremely prepared. Because if you're stuck, it's okay. You're where you're supposed to be. Then we just kind of can do something about it to go up. And it's like, yeah, we just have to look at it.
Get close.
What's up?
Hearing your back talk.
But Let me mute out Chris. So I don't know if Chris was adding to the conversation or asking or whatnot, or just background noise, but yeah, that's kind of like the key of sales, is just being, everything is a skill set that's acquired and prepared, and everybody's got, you gotta, like, the best learn every day. Like Tony Robbins is not sitting on his fucking ass. Like, he's learning every single day. The top salespeople in your companies, they're not sitting on their asses. They're learning every single day, whether you know it or not, because sometimes they're competitive, like a Kobe Bryant, or while you think they're out partying or doing nothing, they're secretly just getting ahead. Because we used to do that in soccer all the time. Like, we'd always encourage, like, hey, what do you do today? I'm going out. I'm like, cool, me too. Maybe we'll run into each other. But then we're in the gym. We're like, oh, I hope that dude over drinks, and then so we can fuck him up tomorrow. Right. So that's how the competitive nature was just get one level up. At least that's how we thought. So anybody got any specific questions? So I got a call coming up in about 10 minutes, or it's in 15, but I need that. Remember that document? I have to get 5 minutes to prepare ahead of time. All right.
You know, I can I guess I'll just chime in on it again. So I've been like working on the perfect stranger and trying to really like tune that in. And I've gotten some good results out of it as far as like people talking to me and everything. I haven't really gotten amazing results, but I guess that takes time, right? Um what would you say to pay attention to as far as like improving on that? Like would you say, because one thing I've noticed is I'm getting a lot of people from like foreign countries and shit like that, and you know sometimes you get the scammers, which is they're all over the friggin' place. But you know how could I, or maybe I can't change that, you know, but how could I increase the quality of the engagement on the actual post?
The quality of the engagement is go to your competitors, see what they're writing, see what the top engaging posts are, go into some relatable groups that are in your industry, see what the top comments get, so we're understanding what are the pains, what are the solutions to the industry, and then understand your own audience. How big is your audience that is in your niche? Because if you have a small audience, you're gonna get probably small results. So the bigger you're doing the perfect stranger, like adding friends, participating in other groups, adding value, the more authority you're going to be start to accumulate and build. Authority just takes time. Some people get it faster, some people get it lower, but the consistency is going to be the most important part. You guys got to stay consistent posting, even if you get no likes. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Likes aren't money. Likes are just opportunities to like engage with somebody, or they're supporting your cause. So that's a good thing. But in terms of like consistency, my battery's about to die. If I die out, Ben, you start talking about it, or Jacob, and then I'll hop on my phone. I'll just prepare that now. But yeah, you just got to keep going. That's like the most important thing, is always keep going. When you feel nobody's paying attention, then that's the most important part to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm on my phone now. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so consistency is the absolute key, but then you're paying attention to what other people are doing successfully. You're getting what other group members are saying. You can always ask questions before you start posting if you want to. Just saying like, what are the biggest pain points when it comes to XYZ in real estate? Or what's the biggest pain point when it comes to hiring a marketing agency or a coaching company? So you can just ask those types of questions and just get the answers. When all else fails, I mean, like for me, like if I was starting over right now and I was getting into the 2021 market going into 2022, and I would understand the niche. If I would try to buy the solution as quickly as possible for somebody that knows that space really well. But then number two is I would just call my marketplace. Like I would go to like a meetup event or somewhere local and just see if there's a bunch of realtors or attorneys or whatever, and just introduce myself and tell them what I do, and saying like, hey, I'm just curious, like what kind of pains do you run into when it comes to like getting leads or working with a marketing agency? Because if I ask those questions, they're going to talk shit about the marketing agency and they're going to talk shit about the leads, because I'm asking for the pain, and now I'm knowing what hurts. So guess what I can do next? I can provide what doesn't hurt. Right? So now I know their biggest pains, their biggest objections, the biggest problems they're facing. And if I can solve those, I'm solving a big fucking problem, because if it's a realtor selling $1 million home, that's a $30,000 fucking check. It's a big problem if you don't have that $30,000 check and you need it, right? And if it's a lawyer and you get a catastrophic accident, you get a 7-figure fucking case. That's a big problem I just solved for you too, and your client and the insurance company or whatever it is, whoever the parties are involved. So everybody wins if we can help you win. So that's kind of like where it's people will pay for big problems. They just have too much skepticism. And once we eliminate skepticism and can demonstrate authority, it becomes a lot easier, especially since we have video. The only thing that gets easier is that we can be found easier because our content can stay online. We can do Zooms like this. We can do our own videos on our own phone. We can publish it on all our platforms that we feel our customers are hanging out in. And we can just demonstrate authority.
Would that be like the 15-second videos? Like Dennis was talking about in the workshop, those 15-second videos type deals.
Yeah, 15 seconds. Like, don't worry. Quantity is based on platform. So 15-second videos will be like with attention spans changing and platforms leaning to, like, if a platform like TikTok or Instagram and Instagram Reels and all that kind of stuff, they're leaning under the minute-long contents, right? So we just adapt, because that's like I'm just imagining that they're pretty smart companies at TikTok and Facebook or Meta, whatever they're called now, that they're doing it based off human behavior, of attention spans, on stickiness, on how people stick. So yeah, that minute-long content is cool. The 15-second stuff, yeah, that's cool too. But in the end, just know what your audience wants, because if I'm talking to like a lawyer, 15 seconds isn't going to make me a fucking authority. But that 15 seconds will make me an authority for somebody who's watched hours of my content, where it's like, they're going to be like, oh, what did he say? What did he say? You know what I mean? So those 15 seconds, like, you just have to get good at shorter videos.
Gotcha.
So like that's why, like, whenever we hear, like, that's why I always say, like, prioritize your learning, because a 15-second video isn't going to make you great at sales. It's just going to make you better at a 15-second video, but it's going to be good for your marketing to be able to get people to know who you are.
Yeah,
Because
which is what my thing is right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus on the marketing aspect, because I pretty much have sales dialed in. It's just more just being able to, complement my sales to increase them.
Yeah, totally. And that's important. So real quick, if anybody needs any help, just Jacob, drop my profile or Cody's profile or whatever. Just drop it into the Facebook chat if somebody's on there. If everybody needs any help or whatnot, let us know. And if you don't have the RAD framework, just DM Cody's profile, which Jacob will put in the chat here and also into the Facebook thread. Just do it. Say RAD framework, RAD, like the word RAD framework. If you want it, we'll share a copy of it. But yeah, marketing and sales is kind of aligning into one thing. So that's important to kind of have that, like, thought process, is that marketing and sales, when it came to my era at realtor.com, we didn't know what marketing even did. We just thought they're a bunch of fucking idiots. We're just like, you idiots, like, suck so bad. We have to be better at sales. So that's, but now if they're aligned, then everything's gonna be congruent. Now, when a lead comes in, we know what they're looking for. We know it matches our distinct message. So yeah, like, since you guys are doing the marketing and the sales at the same time, it's just important to have, like, not get too confused into shiny object offers, if you will. So you just have to, that's all I would always think of your endpoint. Whatever your endpoint is, have your marketing match that. Because if your marketing sounds cheap, you'll attract cheap people. If that's what you want, do it. Like Taco Bell does that really well. So there's nothing wrong with attracting a low priced offer. Just understand, if you have a high ticket offer, just don't make it sound low priced, because then you'll just be draining conversations. And if you do have people that are not qualified, just get out of the conversation. It's okay to say no, because it's your product. You can say no to whoever the fuck you want. Especially if you're getting, like you mentioned, Michael, like you're getting overseas people, just don't engage with them. You can hover and see their profile and see where they're at. And if you don't want to help them, just don't help them. Don't reach out.
Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, we got one more minute here, guys. How'd you guys
I'm glad you guys came on this Saturday because I know you guys got a lot of things you could be doing other than sitting here. But I just feel that these types of things, like I do these things with other people, even in my own mastermind groups that I'm a part of in small group settings. Just because I feel like my Saturdays, I can think, I can be clear, and it allows me to level up. So for the Mondays. Cool. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your Saturday. I'll check out the tab, the events tab and the announcements tabs in our group. We're going to be constantly updating those. We're going to have more like lives like this. Right now, we're pegged at every single Saturday at 9 a.m. If you want to mark your calendars, you're more than welcome to. We'll just have little chats, and those of you guys that are in the inner circle group, you guys are going to have us like even more. So this is going to be like general talk. But in the inner circle stuff, we're going to get very, very specific. Like Chris, he's in the inner circle, so we role played. That's what we do every single like week is interactive role play, is getting specific answers to very specific questions to help people increase their income. And but most importantly, like systematize the fucking business, because a lot of people are doing like activities to increase income, but then it's going to create a roller coaster of inconsistency, which is just the worst thing in the world, is to have success and then have it all just tumble all the way fucking down. And then guess what that happens? You spiral out of control and you're guessing, and it's just like big haymaker swings of what's going to work. And then you're going to be chasing shiny object syndrome. We want to stabilize that and create a foundation of something that's systematized. Once you have the system, then you can increase your revenue, and then you can have consistency over a long period of time versus just a short period of luck. So if that's something you guys want help with, let us know. Happy to help and see if we're a fit. But for those of you guys that are already in the inner circle, which is a bunch of you guys that are on here right now, see you guys on Monday or Tuesday.
GST,
Cheers.
baby.
All right, GSD. Bye, guys.
USD.